and that kind of process is carried out in several branches rather than only physics. It is done in chemistry as well as in biology. So to identify the material, same way we are applying or exposing the material with the help of external magnetic field, then the resonance will occur. That is material is getting magnetized and orient itself in a magnetic field. Then in that case, the resultant magnetic field will be identified or it will be observed, and from that we can identify the material also. Then the another application, that is magnetoencephalography. That is one more application, but here rather than the whole body, we are focusing on the part of brain. Brain is having its neural network, and in neural network we know that small current they are going to flow, that they are the signals given to the sensors, or from the sensors brain is receiving such kind of signals, but they are very tiny small currents passing through the nerve system. But in the brain we are having a certain segments, divisions, and through them such kind of activities they are going on, the signals they are going on, and those small current they are also creating magnetic fields. So those small magnetic fields that can be sensed with the help of Squid device, and if you observe such kind of activities, then we can see that what kind of we can say active state of the brain or part of the brain is available, that we can detect. Here the real diagrams they are given, how the test is carried out. A person will be made comfortable on a seat, and then the whole arrangement, or the we can say electromagnet as well as Squid device, the whole equipment that is set on a head, and then with the help of Squid device we can sense the activity of the different portion of the brain, and from that also we can make it out which portion is more active and which portion is not responsive, or which is not giving any kind of response to the stimuli. So this kind of diagnosis carried out in the case of injury to the brain or to the person on a head. So this is very useful we can say useful application of superconductors or superconducting quantum interference device, SQUIDs, in the case of medicines. Same way, US Navy, they have identified one more application. It's not we can say falling in a part of biology or medicine, but here they have identified application to identify the location of submarines. You know that is already covered in another portion, that is ultrasonic sound. You already studied in that chapter, ultrasonic sound, which is used to sense such kind of thing in a sonar. But rather than those sonars, if we use superconducting quantum interference device, because the submarine they are also equipped, they are also having devices, and when they are passing through the region, they will their magnetic field will be identified with the help of SQUIDs, and with the help of that we can identify the presence position of the enemy submarine as well as location of them. So these are the application of SQUIDs, but basically it's a application of Josephson junction and Josephson effect. If we go further, then the last application of the superconductor, that is cryotron. Cryotron, the word is having a one state or condition available, that is cryo, that is it's a low temperature arrangement. Cryotron is a automatic switch made up of superconductor. The normal we can say a similar arrangement is normal relay or relay switch, that is electromagnetic switching, but compared to that we are having a quite fast and efficient switching with the help of superconducting arrangement, that is cryotron. In cryotron, it's a simple construction. We need to have one superconductor as a core material, and another superconductor we are going to use as a coil. We are going to wound that another superconductor on it. But while choosing both the superconductor, we need to take care of one value, that is HC value of both the superconductor. The material which we are wounding on, the first material, that should have more HC value, that is more critical magnetic field. Then what we are going to do? So as we are having a two material, one is core material, the other is wound on it. We are going to allow the current to pass through the outer material, and there is small current passing through the inner superconductor also. When we are increasing the current passing through the outer coil, then the magnetic field created inside, that is going to expose the superconducting material within the coil also, and as we increase the current over here, the magnetic field will become stronger, and as the magnetic field will become stronger, the material which is inside, that is getting exposed with that. And as we have chosen that the inner material will have a low HC value, that is low critical magnetic field, at one particular value of current in the outer superconducting coil, the inner material will lose its state of superconductivity and will become normal conductor. So we can say that it is going to offer resistance and it will going to stop the current, or it is going to reduce the current. So here we can see that switching, making the current on and off by external current in the outer loop. As we vary the current in outer loop, we can make the current in another part on and off. So such kind of switching can be carried out with the help of cryotron. And cryotron is a very small, we can say a very tiny arrangement, so we don't need much space there, as well as the effectiveness of this switching is quite high. As you have already studied, normal switches, they are having a, we can say response time, they are having a we can say lethargy in showing that increase and decrease of current. But here such kind of differences, they are not occurring, because the material is going to change its state from normal to superconductor or superconductor to normal. So when it is in normal state, then it is going to offer resistance, and we can consider switch is open or off. And when it is in a superconducting state, it is allowing the current to pass through, and then we can say switch is on, our current is passing through that. So this is a cryotron application of superconductor, which is we can say quite effective in the part of switching the device on and off. But these are very miniature arrangements, so we need to take care of the, we can say, temperature of ambience also. We need to maintain that lower than TC value. Okay, now we'll move further and the remaining portion, because we have already completed all the topics of the chapter. Now we are going to revise the thing, and we are going to do the revision in terms of numericals. This is a summary of the formulas involved in the chapter. Only 3 formulas are there, but by making a interconversion, we can have a 5 formula rather than 3. We can make it out 2 more formula. First we talked was isotopic effect, in that TC into isotopic mass raised to beta, that is equal to constant, and we already talked about that also. Beta will have generally 0.5 value, that is half root of m, that will come into equation. So from that we are getting for one superconducting material, we will have a relationship Tc1 square m1, that is equal to Tc2 square m2. That is, if you change the isotopic mass, corresponding to that Tc value varies, and from that only we are getting such kind of relationship. From this we can have a numerical to find out Tc value 1, Tc value 2, or isotopic mass m1 or isotopic mass m2. Such kind of things you need to do. The second equation was related with the critical current and critical magnetic field. They are related with the formula IC, that is critical current is equal to 2 pi r Hc, and that we derived from Ampere circuital law. And here certain value or specific value for a particular superconducting material, that Hc value is available, and from that only we are having a restriction in terms of current passing through superconductor also. That is, IC value will have a relation with Hc. And in a formula we are having R, that is radius of the current carrying conductor or superconductor. So we need to use it, and we need to take care all the quantities should be in a same unit system. Then as I was telling you, we can have a transformation from that formula, and we can have another formula, that is magnetic field, critical magnetic field Hc, that is equal to IC upon 2 pi r. That also another way of calculating critical magnetic field from the critical current. And the last formula, third formula, was related with the temperature and critical magnetic field. The relationship is there. So any temperature, any T temperature, if you want to find out critical magnetic field, we need to have a set of value available. In that case, one value is at 0 Kelvin, what is the critical magnetic field needed, what is the transition temperature, the temperature of at that time, or the T temperature. If we know all this value, with the help of this equation, we can solve the problem. So here we are going to go further, and we are going to solve certain numericals. And let's start with the first one, with the help of first formula. How can we solve the problem? The problem is cited like this: the critical temperature of the mercury with the isotopic mass is 199.5 is 4.185 Kelvin. So with one isotopic mass, we can say m1, we are having a value of critical temperature Tc1, that is 4.185 Kelvin. Calculate the critical temperature when it is isotopic mass changes to 203.4. If it is another isotopic mass, what will be the value? So data from the statement we can get it in this manner. If we go further, we know that equation or formula which we are supposed to use. This was the formula. In that we can make m1 and m2 in terms of ratio. So m1 divided by m2, that is equal to tc2 upon tc1 the whole square. Now if we substitute the value of m1, m2 and tc1, because they are already given in a problem statement, and then if we simplify it, we are going to get the value of tc, that is critical temperature at for the another isotopic mass, that is 203.4 Kelvin. We will have 4.1446 Kelvin. Now if you observe this thing, we already talked about isotopic effect, and in that case we observed if we increase the isotopic mass, then in that case we are not at a advantageous site, because the critical temperature value that is going to lower down, and that will create a trouble in converting the normal material into superconducting material. So that is observed over here. Previously the material was having a isotopic mass 199.5, and if we change it to 203.4 unit, then in that case we are getting a critical temperature that is lower than the previous one, and it's a 4.14. So this is difficult to achieve in the case of superconductor compared to the previous one. Okay, now we'll move to the from this particular method we can get the another relationship also. If you are supposed to find out isotopic mass and the TC values are given, so TC value 1 and TC value 2 they are given, then in that case we can take a ratio of these two, and any isotopic mass 1 correspond to 1 TC value. If it is mentioned, then we can find out isotopic mass given in a problem statement. So this is the formula, same we can use for finding out M1 or M2 also. Now if you go further, there is a second problem statement where we are going to talk about IC and HC relationship. So in this formula, in this problem, calculate the critical current that flows through the long thin superconducting wire of aluminium of radius 1 millimeter. The critical magnetic field of aluminium, that is also given 7.98 into 10 raised to minus 3 ampere per meter. Then in that case the data given is like this. Radius is also mentioned, but it is in millimeter, so we convert into a normal SI unit, 10 raised to minus 3 meter. HC value is also mentioned. Now which formula we are going to use, that you need to recall, and as you know we are going to use this formula, IC is equal to 2 pi r HC. Now if you substitute the value in that, 2 as it is, pi 3.14, r radius was in millimeter, as we convert into meter it is 10 raised to minus 3, and then in that case multiplication with 7.98, that is magnetic field, into 10 raised to 3. So 10 raised to minus 3, 10 raised to 3, that will get cancelled, and if you multiply the other remaining numbers, then in that case we are going to get 50.1144 ampere. So this is the maximum permissible current through aluminium, which is having a quite small radius. So if you allow the current to pass through more than 50 ampere, then in that case it will enter into the normal conducting state and it will lose its superconducting state. So this is the limitation of HC is available, and from that only we are getting the limitation of current also. So this is the one equation, and in place of this, if it is given that HC value you need to find it out, then you can find out the HC value from given IC value also in the same manner. The third problem is in this manner. Superconducting material has a critical temperature of 3.84 Kelvin at zero magnetic field, and the critical field of 3.2 into 10 raised to minus 3 ampere per meter at 0 Kelvin. Then find the critical field at 3 Kelvin. So here the data is given, TC value, 1 TC value is given 3.84 Kelvin at 0 magnetic field. Then HC naught, that is at 0 Kelvin, what is the critical magnetic field needed, that is 3.2 into 10 raised to minus 3 ampere per meter. Then temperature is given at which we need to find out the critical magnetic field. T is given, that is equal to 3 Kelvin, and HC at the T temperature we need to find it out. This formula we are going to use it. We already talked about the terms involved in this, and now if you substitute the value in that, first of all you need to find out a ratio of 3 upon 3 and 3.83, that is temperature T and TC, and then you need to subtract that result or ratio from 1, and if you multiply the terms remaining, then in that case you are going to get 0.7 into 10 raised to minus 3 Tesla, and that is equal to 0.7 millitesla. That is very small magnetic field required to destroy the state of superconductor at T temperature. So here from this three formula we have calculated 3 numerical, but we can manipulate the equation and we can get a few more equations if it is needed. From the last equation, HC and T relationship, we can also find out temperature if it is asked in the examination. So make the T subject and transfer the other terms on the other side and do the necessity calculation, and you can calculate the value of temperature in the case of arrangement over here also. So these are the numericals involved in the superconducting chapter. Do practice of all such kind of formulas and numericals so that you can score very well in the examination. While preparing all this material, I have taken help of certain books as well as websites. So these are the references. You can also follow all these references so that you can get we can say a better understanding of the topic, and we can say better clarity of the superconducting topic, and later on you can score very well in the examination. So let me wish you best of luck for your preparation.